Okay, so we're gonna create a really simple blues really quickly, essentially using Musescore. So I'm gonna create a new score. I'm not gonna bother filling that out. I'm gonna choose just for this. You could go through and choose instruments if you want, but I'm just gonna choose a great stave, so I get kind of treble and bass clef. And continue, and then I can choose to pick out all of these different things like the key signature and time signature and things like that, but I'm just going to leave it and click done. So I get all these bars. So the first thing I like to do is structure out what I'm going to do. So a blues is usually written in 3 lines of 4 bars. So if I've got this as a bar, so 1, 2, 3, 4, I want to break at this point and start a new line. So what I do is I click on the kind of bar line after it and hit return. Yeah, and you see it puts in the little return symbol there, and it's broken the system. So we're now starting a new system. So it's in 1, 2, 3, 4. So the bar after, hit return, and that one, and hit return. And then I've got, do you see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got the structure laid out. And then the next thing that I would do is maybe put the chord symbols in to help. So I can use Command and K, allows me to put chord symbols in. So I'm going to put C7. So we're going to do this in the key of C, essentially. So usually it's called 1. So I'll just put that in for now so we know. So that is chord 1. Goes on for 4 bars. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on this 5th bar, it usually changes to chord 4. So I'm going to click on, I need to click on something to kind of link the chord symbol to it, but I'm going to click on that, Command K and F7, and that goes on for 2 bars, and that is chord 4 in the key, onto the 4th. And we usually go back to 1 here. Now, instead of doing putting it in, I'm just going to copy. So I'm going to select the C7 and go Command C or Control and Command V or Control V to paste, and I'll take that the same way. And then that usually goes on for 2 bars, and then what happens here is we usually go to the 5th. So actually I'm just going to be lazy and copy the F7 and change it to a G. And then copy that and get rid of that. And then this time I'm going to hold Shift, Command, select both those things, copy, paste. Oh, I didn't take over both of them, that's a shame. So, and then it goes to chord 1. And then in this last bar, it can go to chord 1 again, which we'll do for now, or chord 5. So I've got the chord symbols in, but it's not going to actually sound like anything yet until we've kind of written in some chords, essentially. So what I would do next is put the bass notes in, essentially, and we'll just do them as long notes for now. So I've clicked up here on the N, which is note input, and there are different methods to do note input, but step time is quite a simple way, and it's the default one. So then I pick the note duration, so I want a semi-brief, so that lasts 2 minims or 4 crotchets, so in 4/4 it's the whole bar. And I'm going to put it on a C, and this is bass clef, remember, yeah? So bass clef has got these 2 dots around the F line, which is there, essentially, and this is what the clef's actually called. It's called the F clef, whereas the treble clef kind of circles around the G line, and it's known as G clef. So if I was to work down, so this is F, so then that would be E, D, and C. Bring it down to C's, and again, what I could do is I could hold, so I'm holding Shift, I click there, and then I hold Shift, click there, and I could paste that in like that. And then I could actually be lazy and see, well, there's another C there, so I paste it there, there's another C down there, so I paste it there. Save a bit of time. And the F, so I could come up to the F line, which is up here, or we could go down to there, and it's down there too. But let's go to the F line for now. And there's an F there. Oh, no, it's a G. There we go. And you see I just moved it using my up and down keys as well. So if I get it wrong and I click there, I can use down or up to change it. So that is the bass notes in. The next thing we need to do is put the chord symbols in, or the notes of the chords in. So this first one, C7, starts with a C, so that's middle C. And then it has a major third, so that would be an E. And then it has a perfect fifth, which is a G. But then it has a flat 7. So if we think about a major scale from C, when I'm working out chords, C major scale has just normal B. If you think about all the white notes on the keyboard, has normal B. But a dominant chord type has a flat 7. So I take the 7 and I lower it. Yeah? So then actually I could copy this and paste it. I'm going to get rid of those. I don't want that pasted all the time. Like that. And then we get to the F chord. So I'm going to click on Note Input, Semi-Breathe, and I'm going to start on an F. And then it's got a major third. So if I think about a major scale from F, so if you worked out F major scale, you'd find out that the major third is an A, a perfect fifth is a C, and a normal 7 in a major scale is an E, essentially in the key of F. But this is a dominant chord, so we want a flattened 7. So I'll take the 7 and I'm going to lower it there. Copy, paste. And I'll need to take the notes to make it actually sound in a minute. And this, I could be lazy. Let's just take that, paste that in. And again, C7 is down there, so I paste that in. And we've got F7 is down there, so I copy that. The only one I need to work out is the G. So if I click on Note Input, Semi-Breathe, start on a G. And again, if you worked that G major scale, you would work out that a major third is a B, the perfect fifth is a D, and the major 7th is actually an F sharp in this key, yeah? So G major scale has an F sharp as a 7. So if I take the 7, the major 7, I want to make a dominant chord, so I need to lower it. So F sharp just becomes F natural, like that. Yeah? And then we have it. We have all of our chords in and bass notes. It's pretty boring at the minute. Now, if we wanted to write a melody on this, we would need to change the instrument. So I'm going to go up the top to Edit, and in the Edit menu, I'm going to click on Instruments, and then you can see what we've got here. We've got piano with stave 1 and 2, so the treble clef and bass clef. But let's stick in an instrument. So let's pick a flute, add that in. Now it's gone to the bottom, but I actually want this on top, just going to have the melody. Let's put it on top. There we go. Now it looks like this. So a really common thing is to have question and answer phrases. So this is going to go up as the question and then down as the answer, essentially. And another really common thing that vocalists tend to do, because of the way that English as a language works, is we don't tend to sing on beat 1 all the time. We tend to either come up to it or actually not sing on the beat. So I'm going to put a rest in and start putting a rhythm in. And the scale I'm going to use to play over this is the C blues scale. So let's do that. So the melody is generally going up. And then I want to come down. So I'm going to use the same trick of, so I click on this note, hit backspace, and it turns it into a rest. So we got do it like that. Yeah, so you might be thinking, well, what do we put in the next line? Well, actually, this is what you do. So I click in the first bar somewhere empty like there, click in the last bar somewhere empty like here, but hold shift. and it copies the whole, or it selects the whole thing. And I'm going to copy using Command C and paste using Command V or Control into the second line. And this is what a lot of bluesers do. It actually copies the first melody over the new chords though. These are different chords that this is over now. Yeah, so same melody line, and then the last bit you just basically stick in something that is slightly different. So we've got question, answer, question, answer, question, answer. Yeah, so that's how to create a really simple blues, and we could add rhythms to the accompaniment part and things like that now, but it kind of functions right in that we've got the 12-bar chord progression in there, and the melody does this thing where we get questions and answers, and line 1 is the same as line 2, but obviously it's over a different chord here, and then line 3 is different to these two essentially. And you generally want to finish where you start, so you see like this C's up here is our starting note, and then we finish about there as well, and then this becomes a big loop really from here. So we could put in, if we get the palettes up, which you can find in views, then we could go down to repeats, and we could put in some repeat marks. So I'll stick that in on the end there, and that will repeat to back to the beginning then. And if I want to repeat lots, I might stick in one of these at the beginning and put so many times like X4 or something like that down here. That's it, how to write a blues on Musescore.